So now we're gonna have an inside look at a second BA project. First thing coming up my mind is in here in the clip list you see the full path of the audio clip, which is quite useful when you are looking for sound files, missing sound files. So when you miss sound files, you can choose in this drop-down menu show full path. So usually you don't see this, you only see the audio files, and you can choose full path in the show, and now you see some files are missing, and then you see this one is on the projects in this and this folder. Kein Problem. So you can see where the missing sound files are and can search for them and bring everything together. So when you import files, it's really useful when you never hit add, but it can happen that you add a sound file instead of copy. The add button is only available when bit depth and sample rate are the same as your Pro Tools project. So as soon as you import 16-bit files or 44.1 kilohertz files, this button does not exist. You have to copy. But try just not use add, because add only adds a reference to the sound file in the specific folder and does not import the sound file into your project. Okay, that's first. Now when we have a look at this session, of course we have the film file at 1 hour. We have the session start at, this one is at 59 minutes, sometimes it's at 58 minutes, but usually I have 1 minute spare time in front. Why do I have this minute in front? Sometimes I want to start with an ambience a bit earlier than the film start, so that the film will get longer, and then you can try this out with an ambience, with just black or whatever, and then add the new film file to the new start. So you just you don't need to move around the whole session. Usually I have, so far you have been working in a stereo format, so you had the bus master, and now in this case you have the master 5.1 as well, which is my main bus. So all the sub buses, like the reverbs, what else do we have? We have FX 5.1, we have the Foley 5.1, so all the Foley tracks in red go to the Foley 5.1, Foley 5.1 goes to Master 5.1, and same with the FX here, and we have the voices, which in this case they don't go to a 5.1 bus but only to a LCR bus, LCR meaning left, center, right. We choose this setup because we didn't have any voices which had to be mixed into the surround, and it's just saving processing power. Then in the inserts you see a new plugin. That's the Pro Q2. Some of you already know it from the graduation films. This plugin is much, I think it's much easier to use because it's an equalizer which shows you a spectrogram of your content. So when I play this file, I don't hear anything so far, but I see where my voice has the spectrum. So I can see, okay, here is my fundamental, and here's a peak. So I can also see where a problem might exist in my content. In order to hear it, I first have to go into the playback engine, of course. It's a display port because it comes from the Firewire out. Then I go to my I/O and I'm gonna look for my 5.1 out, which is in italics. So I declick and click it once and it jumps to my 5.1 output of the display port. I have to further check if in my master output where I go to. I go into the rec bus, which is basically okay, but here I have to choose the 5.1 output. Now I should be able to hear something. Okay, wow. And now I have what I've done in here in order to hear my voice better in the music. That's why I do this tutorial, is I created a sidechain. And this sidechain is an aux send. It basically works the same as your reverb, but what it does, it's a signal that goes nowhere, but I can pick it up in a plugin. So what I've done is I've sent my content into the send, huh? And then I pick it up in my music 5.1 bus. I have to look for it. It's here. I have a compressor on this 5.1 bus, and in here I choose as a so-called sidechain. I choose this bus I've created on my voice. Then I have to choose as a source for the compression of the signal. I have to choose external all. So internal would mean it just picks what it has on the input of the bus. So on the music 5.1 input. But what we want is the compressor to work when the voice is present. So that's why I choose the sidechain and external. And now when I play my voice together with the whole rest, I can see here how the music gets attenuated when the signal of the voice is present. Now have a look here. And this dip in volume is very short. It's only during the length of the voice. So what I do with this sidechain compression is I dip the whole music when my voice, which I want to be standing out in the mix a bit, is present, but it only does it during that time. And that's why I can have multiple sound elements in the mix, and choose one element that needs to be stronger in the mix, and you don't hear the dipping of the music because it's masked by the voice played at the same time. So that's the concept You choose when you need to cut through with one element through whole sounds which is already present, because this music is very strong. In order to get through, it's really it's a good choice to do this sidechain compression. I also put the same send, I think, either on the Foley's, yes, no, on the FX. So now we're gonna have a look how the FX are behaving combined with the voice, which is the steering signal, the sidechain signal. So that's quite an amount. That's 8 decibels of attenuation when the voice is present at the same time as the effects. Let's see what the Foleys are doing. Foleys are doing nothing. They are not attacked by the voice, so to say. You don't need to be able to do this on your own by watching the tutorial video. I mean, of course, you can try this out because it's a cool effect and you can really play around with it. But what I think is important is that you know that this is a possibility to highlight some sounds in the mix when a lot of other sound is playing at the same time. And I think that's the important thing you need to know. You need to know when you have to focus on a certain sound. And that's what sound design does. Sound design is basically focusing where the viewer should have his eye and his ear. So that's not it doesn't need to be realistic. It's a so-called Aufmerksamkeitslenkung. So you compared to a documentary sound, which treats every sound the way it is in reality, we do different stuff in sound design. We can do either documentary style sound design, or we can do this Aufmerksamkeitslenkung, which is very often used. And as a viewer, you don't realize, you don't listen to reality, you listen to a gelenkte Aufmerksamkeit. Does that make sense? So, you know, there's many possibilities to do this. We can do this with a compressor. We can also do this with a equalizer. So what I've done in other projects is I don't lower the whole level, but only like the syllables, like the S and sh sounds. So that's between 1.5 and maybe 6 kilohertz. So I can choose this frequency range in the equalizer, and just with the sidechain dip those frequencies in the music when the voice is present. We've mixed yesterday a film, a master film called The Edge, and Jorit was in the sound design team. He was here in the afternoon, and you've seen how the voice really comes out of the whole FX rumble, earthquake, blah blah blah, and you still hear the voice. You would never hear this voice in reality, but in filmic reality you are able to hear it, which is kind of nice.